will pay homage to all the great beings. The center one is Vairochana Buddha, the original founder Buddha. The whole of the lineage of Sammasambuddha start with him, Vairochana Buddha. In Mandarin is called what is it? So Pirujana for. Okay, let us recite. Or I use the English one easier. Namo Vairochana for. Namo Vairochana for. Namo Vairochana for. 那么本师释迦牟尼佛，那么本师释迦牟尼佛，那么地藏王菩萨，那么地藏王菩萨，那么地藏王菩萨，那么佛菩萨，那么佛菩萨，那么佛菩萨。อะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธภะคะวะพุทธังภะคะวันตังอะภิวาเทมิสุขะโตภะคะวะตาธัมโมธัมมังนัมมัสสามิสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสังฆังนามามินะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมพุทธังสรณังกัจฉามิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิตุติยมปิพุทธังสรณังกัจฉามิตุติยมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิตุติยมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยมปิพุทธังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิปานาติปาตาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิอาดินาดานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิกาเมสุมิจฉาจาระเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิมุสาวาดาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิสุราเมรยามัจจาปมาทัฏฐานะเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ Okay, you all can turn to page 3 of the chanting book. We will then chant the Padipa Puja based on our understanding of the significance of all this puja offering. Padipa Puja, offering of light. Ganna sarapatitena ditena sambut Dipena tamadang sina tiloka dipang sambutang pujayami tamonodang ganda sambarayutena Doktena hang สุกังทินาปูเยปุญานิยังตังปูจาปัจจานามุตตมังวันนากันดากุโนเปตังเอตังกุสุมาสันตติปูจายามิโมนินดาสสิริปาทาสโรโรเฮปูเจมิบุตังกุสุเมนาเนนะปุณเนนะเตนะเชโหตุโมคังปูปังเมลายติยตาอิดังเมกายโยตตายติวินาสบาวังอาดิวาเสตุโนบันเตปานิยังปริกาปิตังอานุคัมปังอุปาดายะปาติกันอาตุโมตตมังอาดิวาเสตุโนบันเตปาเลปาริกาปิตังอานุคัมปังอุปาดายะปาติกันอาตุโมตตมังอาดิวาเสตุโนบันเตโบจานังปาริกาปิตังอานุคัมปังอุปาดายะปาติกันหาตุโมตตมัง Now we shall chant the puja expression based on our understanding of the significance of these puja offerings. Significance of offering of light. May this offering of light to the Buddha brings forth the causes and conditions to illuminate our mind and help arise the needed clarity and understanding to dispel all darkness or ignorance therein. Significance of offering of water. May this offering of pure, clear, cool water lead us to the pure, clear Dhamma that cools and doses out the fires of all defilements within our mind. Significance of offering of incense. May our morality, virtue, and understanding shine far and wide, just like the fragrance of this incense, which we are offering to the Blessed One, who is perfect in virtue and wisdom. Significance of offering of fruits. May this offering of fruits remind us of the Dana Parami of generosity and the fruit of all karma, so that we will diligently strive on with faithfulness to attain the path and fruition soon as possible. Significance of offering of flower. May this constant offering of flowers to the Blessed One strengthen our faith and constantly remind us of the impermanence of this body, so that we will diligently and sincerely strive on to cultivate Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, leading to ultimate liberation and the born-free Nibbana. Making of overall aspiration. By the power of all these merits born of these offerings, may our spiritual faculties of Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, and Panya be further strengthened until they become balas of power, sharing and transfer merits to all beings. May these merits be shared and transferred to all beings without exception, especially to those who have the condition and affinity to receive them. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, let's pay respect to Puja. Buddhang Puja, Dhammang Puja, Sanghang Puja. Okay, you all can be seated. A very good afternoon to all, brothers and sisters, Kayamitas. Yeah. Today is a very auspicious day, 27 August 2022. We are indeed very fortunate and very grateful to Ajahn Supu and the Sampo Temple Committee for allowing us to have this unofficial silent Sampo Temple retreat. So we had already just now paid our respect to Ajahn Supu and at the same time express our thanks and gratitude towards him and the committee. Then with all this very auspicious condition, we managed to commence our retreat today. So officially, we started off at PJ. We supposed to start at 7:30, gather everything, load them, and move out, which we did very well. I was told some Karita woke up very early, 5:30 a.m. Pushing to me. So rejoice, started to you all. Hopefully, like we shared earlier on, this will give you faith, give you understanding, and give rise to the causes and conditions for you all to really benefit and awaken. This retreat is going to be very unique, very special, because all of you are familiar and you all have helped out in many ways, one way or other, in contributing towards the progress and transformation of Kayamita grouping and the Kayamita consciousness as a whole. So hopefully, because of your blessings, your good contribution, all this can bring forward all the good and favorable causes and conditions for the Triple Gem to once again bless, guide, and protect you all along the path of Dhamma so that you all may really insight into phenomena and awaken to the true Dhamma. So let us rejoice. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Also, just the puja that we offered, all these offerings, the flower, the fruits, and whatever that we have arranged, they are mainly from our Kayamita Fund, which we have pulled together. We donated through the Kayamita Fund 3,000 ringgit for the retreat common pool. This is to benefit all other Kayamitas who may not have the condition to be here, but at the same time, they can partake in all this awesomeness. Then the offering of light at the main hall, Pa Siong Fountain, which we did just now. Then the offering at the shrine beneath us, Junti Pusa, Tizawang Pusa, and also Sipam Sansan. It's also from Kayamita Fund. So we have actually covered all those so that at least all Kayamita get to partake and participate in all this wholesomeness. We should rejoice. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, good. Which means officially we have done up with the preliminary, and now we are actually ready to commence our retreat proper. So you look at the whiteboard. This is supposed to be an unofficial silent Sampo Temple retreat. It stretches from the 27th August until the 4th of September. But the main program is up till the 3rd of September. The 4th of September is just the final closing ceremony, paying respect, cleaning up everything, then express our gratitude towards Ajahn Supu and all the temple committee for all that they have done for us. So we really rejoice. And before we leave, we will have to do our part, clean up the place and make it at least as clean as before we arrive. Or if can do it better, cleaner than before we arrive. We are this place for the last 2 over years, almost 3 years. I think they didn't allow any retreat. So I was told the official one can only start next year. So this unofficial is out of compassion and kindness of Ajahn Sufu on our behalf to ask the committee to agree to it. So we have to abide by the SOP and all those things. I understand one more car coming, Kok Lun, another 4 Kayamita, so total 5. Then Dr. J tomorrow. So once they arrive, I think total will be 20. Of course, finally we got 21. Yeah, that's I just Tammy's mother came and thanked us. I say, it's your good parami, you should thank Tammy and the rest, because I don't favor anybody. It just happened they limit to 20. So Pamasuri approached me, so I have to make a decision, a choice. And my decision is very simple. I don't know anybody. I don't favor anybody. So I say those who contributed, those who are serious, have the faith or thing, who always attend the class and all things, will be given priority. And at first, I think 3 of them were on waiting list. So I think Mi Fong pulled out, and another one was Hui Rong also pulled out. And then
Miss Lee.
Miss Lee also pulled out. So we managed to take in Han and Tammy. Then because there is still one more place, so Tammy come, the mother must also follow. That's why we include her. So it's meant to be. It's a very direct condition, meant to be, will be. So I hope with this explanation, all Kanyamita can have the understanding. Is nothing to do with favorism or what. You start to use the mundane mind to discuss or debate all this, then you will end up with a lot of issue and problem. Forget about it. Whatever is meant to be will be. You have the faith, you have developed all the things, you have attended the class, contribute in whatever way, you will be here. And because the temple restrict the number, not I restrict the number. I want more, but the temple says maximum 20. Then when we told them 1 or 2 reserve, Ajahn Sufu say, I know what you are doing. You are trying to increase it. He said, no more, cut off. So supposed to cut off at 22 maximum, because we say got reserve. So initially we was thinking even the reserve, let's say cannot come, we say they are kitchen helper. They help out in the kitchen and all those things. But at the same time, they get to partake. So finally, the condition is such we managed to get in 21. Okay, now we will go into the retreat proper. Let us go to the program that I've given you. This program is very useful. I will read through. Silent Temple Stay Dharma sharing at Mahayana Triple Gem Sampo Temple, Cameron Highland, Rinchang. Dated 27 August until 4th September, conducted by me, Brother Teo. Introduction. This silent temple stay Dharma sharing is suitable for all participants who may be from different Buddhist tradition or background with varying meditation experiences. The emphasis here is on the understanding of the Buddha Dharma and the awareness-based meditation as taught by the Buddha. The awareness is actually mindfulness or sati. Instead of focusing on methods and techniques of meditation, this program was prepared to allow participants to settle down slowly into the retreat proper via a less stringent procession, where more Dhamma sharing and understanding will be emphasized, followed by a more stringent second session, which is from 31st of August, Merdeka Day, till 3rd of September, the last day, where noble silence, heedfulness, and the actual meditative training will be emphasized. The main purpose and intent of this silent temple stay retreat is to understand and realize the noble teachings of Lord Buddha via sincerely cultivating the much needed heedfulness or apamada. As emphasized by the Buddha via his Dhammapada verses 21, 22, and 23, and his final advice, which is Dhammapada verse 183, Apamadena Sampadeta, before his Parinibbana, when he advised the monks to strive on with heedfulness and to follow his advice, to heed his advice, to avoid all evil, do good, and purify the mind. Then the next main intent and purpose is to train ourselves during the meditation session so that we can develop a very stable daily mindfulness, which is your silent mind with inner awareness, leading to heedfulness from the moment we commence our retreat. So he had done that, my nature sadhu. To diligently maintain noble silence of mind and speech during the retreat duration, to cultivate sati sampajana means mindfulness and clear comprehension of sincerity of purpose, domain of meditation, suitability, and non-delusion as a sign of our respect for the way place, which is his Sampo temple and its environment. Then number 3, learn to be at ease naturally and naturally relax and aware via heedfulness most of the time. So this one, learn to be at ease and naturally relax is very important. At ease means you're totally free, no problem, no issue, nothing to disturb you at all. That's why you are at ease. 自在 in Mandarin. That's why the Heart Sutta they put there. 自在 观自在菩萨. So all these are the important, what they call attribute to develop meditative wisdom and understanding. So learn to be at ease, naturally relaxed, and aware most of the time via heedfulness. Then always move, speak, and act naturally. Don't try to be unnatural, like act out of it. No, naturally and yet mindful. So learn how to always move, speak, and act naturally with inner awareness throughout the day is very important. Where this will stabilize your 5 spiritual faculty until they become very stable and unshakable. So you can maintain this mindfulness training and remain naturally and just aware, naturally relaxed and aware. You will settle down and stabilize your awareness nature. Our program for the retreat is such that it will help you settle down, develop good understanding of the essential Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha, then understand what the Dhamma is and how to develop the meditation as taught by the Buddha, especially awareness-based meditation. Okay, then the next one is, with the stable daily mindfulness or awareness nature within, use it to cultivate Noble Eightfold Path via constant creative contemplation, reflection, and inquiry into the Four Noble Truths, leading to the perfection of all the Noble Eightfold Path factors of right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right living, right effort, right mindfulness, and right samadhi, so that you are incapable of any evil whenever you are heedful. To maintain this heedfulness or pamada training throughout the day, so that we can have the condition to insight into the three universal characteristics of nature, to awaken, that is, to realize the insight knowledges and wisdom needed to liberate the mind, leading to the realization of nibbana or cessation of form and mind as taught by the Buddha. Then number 5 is to diligently develop the understanding of the following essential Dhamma as taught by the Buddha. They are essentially the 5 mental hindrances, Pancha Nivaranas, the 5 spiritual faculty, Pancha Indriyas, the 3 evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion, the 3 right views of Kama Niyama, Chitta Niyama, and Dhamma Niyama, then the 12 links of Paticca Samuppada, then the 4 noble truth is 3 turning, then the 4 foundation of mindfulness, the 7 factors of enlightenment for Satta Bhujanga, followed by Dana, Sila, and Bhavana, and the 5 daily contemplation. If you can understand all this essential Dhamma, you will have beautiful Dhamma foundation. Yeah? Then your cultivation will not deviate. Finally is the books to bring. Heart Sutta Short Note version 2 book, which is the yellow copy. Then the chanting book, the normal and the retreat version. Then the blue book, Brother Theo's Cultivating the Bodhisattva Way, the blue transcript book. And number 4 is the unique code, the purple book, followed by this retreat program. Hard copy has already been distributed to you all. If you don't have, you can collect. There are some copies still around. Maybe the balance is for Kok Lun Dale. Yeah, I saw it was 5. And later on, Jayanta come, I still got another copy here. I can still give to him. Okay, the program proper is next page. So today is the first day. You look at the program proper for 27 August. We have covered most of the morning until afternoon item. So morning we set off at 7:30 and we arrive at the various carpool area where we load the luggage and get ready for the journey. So this on that. Then after that, we supposed to do our own short puja on the vehicle, which I believe everybody would have done. Then among you all, I think you all know each other quite well. No need to introduce. Otherwise, there will be some briefing on how to introduce yourself and have fellowship. And arriving at Sampo Temple, which is 12:30 to 2:30, which is very good timing. We arrived at slightly before 12, a few minutes before 12. We were fortunate, we were lucky. We just followed the ways. Then from Tanarata, we turned right instead of turn left. Then we came out. Very short distance, we reached the junction to Sampo Temple. Then you must turn right. You don't go and turn left to Brinchang. That one will cost you another hour of driving. And when you arrive at Sampo Temple, pay respect to Triple Gem and the Chief Monk, Tang Chia, which you have done, followed by short briefing as to the facility and rooms. I think this one most of us have been here before, so no need introduction. We are familiar. Then to maintain mindfulness and heedfulness throughout. Some Kayamita following Brother Cotland's car will be arriving later. Then we can receive that with a welcoming dinner, which is later tonight. We have to check, see what time they arrive. Otherwise, we keep some food for them. When they arrive, then we can join them again. Okay, 2:30 to 3 o'clock, which is more or less around there. Check in to temple and settle down. For those who need to have bath, you go. For those who arrive early, you can walk around mindfully to familiarize yourself with the way place and help in the setting up of the meditation hall, which we did, and also the puja offering, everything. Also do pay respect to all those rupang or images that are worthy of respect, which we have. We pay respect to Maitreya, Vetha Pusa, the Maitreya. Vetha Pusa is the Dharma protector and the four heavenly devas, Siddha Thianwang. Then after that is Junti Pusa, Thianwang Pusa, and Sifang Sansan. Then Guanxing Pusa. Okay. So with that done, we have our opening puja at 3 o'clock, which we have done just now, followed by briefing and meditation instruction by Bharatiya, which I have done. So the briefing will be very comprehensive, covering the 3 objectives which have been given. Instruction on how to develop the 5 spiritual faculties of Sada, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, and Panya. Samadhi is collectedness of mind and unwavering mind, leading to apamada or heedfulness, to arise the panya or wisdom, either to counter the mental hindrance, the 5 mental hindrance. So meditation instruction will include detailed explanation of what is meditation and how to develop the second turning Dhamma contemplation wisdom, so that the meditation can be done with understanding. So the notice cultivation to include the establishment of a proper daily religious routine, leading to a sustained period of continuous mindfulness and heedfulness. This is a must to develop good progress. So you cannot stabilize your daily mindfulness until it becomes very stable, until you are throughout the day able to sustain that continuity of mindfulness leading to heedfulness throughout the day, then it's very difficult for you to have real progress. So the real meditation, like I always said, the awareness-based meditation, they only start when you have stabilized your daily mindfulness. And after that, only the real training develops. Okay, good. So now we still have a bit of time. I will now give you some overall briefing of the essential Dhamma and what actually is the essence of the Buddha's teaching. Because you need to understand the essential Dhamma, which are the essence of the Buddha's teaching, in order to develop the understanding to meditate. So all of meditation need to be developed with understanding. So essence of the Buddha's teaching. So this one is mainly the Four Noble Truths, followed by the 3 turning. This one, the Four Noble Truths, why do we say it's the essence of the Buddha's teaching? That this Four Noble Truths is very unique. They are called Noble Truths, not any other truth. During the time of the Buddha, noble ones are enlightened beings. So if you have this quality of a noble one, you are an enlightened being. That's why these noble truths are truths that can bring about enlightenment. Once you realize this Four Noble Truths, you will develop awakening. You will become like enlightened. What does enlightenment mean? Give me a minute. What does enlightenment mean? Enlightenment means you awaken to the understanding of life, understanding of truth, understanding of the realities of life and existence. Means all of nature's law or condition that governs life and existence, you understand. It's like you understand the secret of life. Then you know how to live life. And when you have that understanding, you will no longer suffer. Your mind can be liberated. You can be free from all form of suffering. Even physically, when you are sick, when you are afflicted by an injury or whatever, or frightening condition or whatever, normal people who have developed severe suffering, misery, depression, fear, phobia, everything. But if you have the understanding of the teaching, you have understood the noble truth, the essential Dhamma of the Buddha, then you become different. Your mind can liberate itself and go beyond all this. Like the Buddha says, suffering may not be. Your mentally, your mind does not suffer at all. There can be physical conditions that are very extreme or very difficult to endure for normal people. But when you awaken, you don't have to suffer anymore. Suffering may not be. Then you can be at peace with whatever that arises. Then you understand clearly the form and mind is not the real permanent unchanging entity that you can grasp onto, cling onto, hold on to and say, this is me, this is fine. Therefore, all this can be moved. You will have clear understanding of life. You're no longer deluded. That's why this teaching is very beautiful. And what basically is this Four Noble Truth? Because we have gone through. The first Noble Truth is about life reality. The Buddha said there is a noble truth of dukkha. This noble truth of dukkha essentially is telling you that in this world, dukkha is everywhere, prevalence of dukkha. But not life is suffering. No, please do hear it wrong. He said there is a noble truth of dukkha. What dukkha is? There is this truth that you can awaken to. So the first noble truth is equivalent to understanding the reality of life and existence. First noble truth, understanding of life, understanding of the realities of life and existence. Whatever you want to understand is all under this law. Because the Buddha said, if you exist in this existential world, conditioned world, you will confront a lot of things. And he summarized all of life within the existential world into 8 realities we have gone through. Birth, old age, sickness, and death, the first 4 realities. Then separation from loved one, prized possession, and whatever you hold on to dearly or cling on to dearly. Not able to get what one desire is the 6th condition. When you are with people whom you don't like, it's also another reality. Then when you cannot get what you want, when things don't go your way, all this can bring about suffering, misery, unhappiness. So if you were to contemplate and reflect deep into it, these are the realities of life and existence that each and every living being, common reality. If you live life long enough, you have to confront them. You have to undergo all these realities. Without the Dhamma understanding, you suffer. That's why prevalence of suffering. Suffering is everywhere, in the midst of life and existence. Every family, every individual, if you don't have the Dhamma. But once you awaken to this Four Noble Truth, you develop the understanding. That's why the second Noble Truth So this one is the first noble truth of dukkha. Then the second noble truth, cause arising of dukkha. This one is very important. These two, once you understand life, the mundane aspect of life. So if you understand what dukkha is, the eight realities, the eight realities of life and existence, then you understand the cause behind its arising. Means you know how to manage your life better. If I know these are suffering, the eight realities, because without wisdom, I get myself entangled. I get myself become miserable. So all this will lead to the understanding that there is a cause behind suffering. What is the cause? What is the cause? The cause of suffering is what? What is it? Yeah, ignorant avijja, yes. So avijja is the major one. Avijja, that condition craving. That's why in the teaching they always say craving. Understand not? Craving. So craving is the cause. So this one, the Pali word is tanha. Tanha. But it springs forth from avijja, ignorance. That's why for those who understand, they will know. Avijja is ignorance. Ignorant of what? Ignorant of the Four Noble Truth. So the Four Noble Truth is very powerful. So when you have avijja, means you don't understand nature's law that governs life and existence. You don't understand the Four Noble Truth and its essential dhamma. But the essential dhamma are spin-off from here. Spin-off from here. Should be the other way around. Essential dhamma of the Buddha. So this essential dhamma of the Buddha, this spin off from the Four Noble Truth and is three turning. That's why the main avijja or ignorance is sakkaya-ditthi, self-delusion. Self-delusion means we deliberately grasp onto this form and mind, the five aggregate of form and mind, the so-called human being and our mental five aggregate, the thought process, as what we are, as if it is real. It exists. This is what you are. And it's a permanent unchanging entity that you can grasp onto, hold onto, cling onto, and say, this is me. This is I. Therefore, all this that I come to perceive can be mine. That is the main culprit, sakkaya-ditthi. So because of sakkaya-ditthi, self-delusion, you will crave, you will cling, you will grasp. That's how it triggers of suffering. You understand? So in the teaching, they only teach you cause of suffering, craving. Then you memorize it like knowledge. Then they even tell you three types of craving. What are the three types? Sensual craving, kama tanha, then bhava tanha, and vibhava tanha. What is bhava tanha? Craving to become something, understand? But some books translate as craving for existence. I mean, not too wrong. To become that thing is to exist as that thing. Understand? So when you read the English translation and the Buddhist text, you have to be careful. Unless you understand, they use words which you can't understand. Craving for existence. The first time I read about it, I said, what is all this? I already born one. Why I want to crave to exist again? Their meaning is to become that thing that you want to become, understand? So craving to be or not to be. So that one is also the other two types of craving. Means craving to become somebody, some entity, or craving not to become the entity because you find it a hot seat, too difficult to endure. That's why you don't want to become. Like some people thought to be a CEO is very good. But when you reach up there, then you realize it's not what you think. You have to commit yourself, stress out yourself, and there's a lot of responsibility, a lot of duty, and you have a lot of what they call KPI to meet. Otherwise, why people pay you such high salary? Yeah. So this craving, you must expand on it. Because craving is basically grasping, clinging, holding on to things. And the main culprit is Sakayaditi. The main one is Sakayaditi. Double K or one K? Double K. So this self-delusion is the main one. So now you have to understand the first two noble truths differently. Don't just follow text, become knowledge-based. This one is wisdom-based. You relate to life. What is the first noble truth? First noble truth of dukkha means there is a noble truth that explains to you what suffering is. So the eighth reality, as proclaimed by the Buddha, lead to suffering. You understand? You don't go and like a parrot, go and parrot out. Birth, old age, sickness, and death. That's separation. Then do not expand on it. If you do that, you cannot understand the teaching. But if you reflect and contemplate into it and understand this as a common reality, then you ask yourself, yeah, since birth until now, have I confronted all these eight realities? You would have in one way or other. Because all these are what happened to living beings. So if it's a common reality, why must I become miserable over it? Yeah, everybody is subject to it, not only me. Understand? So once this one is understood as a living reality, as life existence that you need to understand life and liberate your mind to be free from all this suffering, then this will drive you to find out the cause, isn't it? What is the cause behind suffering? You go and like the normal Dhamma knowledge, craving, you get the answer, but do you understand what craving is? Oh, then you name the three types of craving. Is that what the teaching is? You have to go way beyond all those things. Craving means you crave for something, like the three types of craving. Sensual craving, kama tanha, the feel is so great. All of your senses that condition you to cling, to grasp, and hold on to all the things you come to perceive through your senses. Whatever you see, whatever you hear, smell, taste, tactile, and recollect through memory, thought process, they all bring about sensual craving. You desire it, or positive and negative desire. That's why you like and dislike. These are craving, positive and negative, pleasant and unpleasant sense experience. There is a message on Tân Diệu Sư Phụ. Yes, someone? Yeah. Better, later better 啊，因为国论他们没有这么找到。Thanks 啊，邓教师傅，6:3都可以啊。Thank you, thank you. So this craving need to be understood. Go into it. Sensual craving, the first one already is so strong. Craving of the senses. Everything you see, you hear, you smell, you taste, you totally feel, and recall through memory. Now we go into example. What are the things you crave and cling, positive and negative, through your seeing consciousness? What are the things? Yeah? Don't tell me about good food and bad food. That one is not so harmful. Huh? If you have got money, you can buy good food. No money, you have to tolerate the not so good food or pleasant food. But apart from food, what else? Yeah? Correct. Nice, beautiful scenery. You attach, you cling, without you knowing it. Why? Because you accumulate it as memory. Then every time, the problem is the mundane mind compare. Then every time you see something, oh, this was so ugly. You should go there. So mundane mind is good at creating division. Understand? Pleasant, unpleasant, good and bad. Then this mundane mind is good at creating words, idea, and concept to divide and cause misunderstanding and conflict, leading to suffering. It will condition you to grasp and cling. And when you grasp and cling, you attach. You cling on to what? Your views, your conditioning, your habitual tendency, your belief system. All this is what your brain, through memory, through the mundane mind, create the attachment, grasping, and the clinging. See that. That is more important for you to awaken to the First Noble Truth, the cause behind its arising. Because every moment of perception can be seeing, hearing, smell, taste, tactile. Now you go into Dhamma, Patipati, cultivation. The 6 internal sense bases and the 6 external sense bases. Mindfulness of them. This is what you have to do. This is the cultivation of the first two noble truths. Understanding it at another level which is deeper. Not just answer. Understand? So when you look at all this, then you realize from memory which you accumulate all this, whatever you see, whatever you hear, smell, or what you accumulate, it becomes your habitual tendency, your conditioning, your belief system. And from there, the thought responds. That's why every time you see, memory, recall, compare it. Understand? Then create the like and dislike. Compare to have all those duality that the mundane people always get themselves entangled. That's what I meant by the mind start to stir and react. In everything you see also, you react, whether pleasant or unpleasant, whether nice or not nice, or the other one is like and dislike, whether you like or you don't like. This creates duality. In every day, every moment of life, your sense experience, you have this sensual desire and ill will, positive and negative. These are the first two mental hindrances. They will hinder your mind from entering the meditative state or inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness. That's why it's a type of craving. Craving to have it or not to have it. Positive and negative craving. And this craving is the cause of suffering. That's why when you attach through habitual tendency, attach through belief system, views, opinion, religious labor, you get into trouble. All this condition you to grasp, cling, and hold on to things which they call attachment. Then you start to argue. You start to create mental delusion, leading to all the unnecessary misery, suffering, and affliction within your mind. That's why you want to think. Sankara anicca, sankara dukkha. Then you see what the Buddha taught becomes so relevant, applicable. Sabbe sankara anicca, come and go, it's only a thought. How come it has such power over you and can make living beings so miserable, so full of suffering, depression, all these things? Why can't you reflect and contemplate when you are young, before you know the Dhamma? This is what you do. That's why every moment of perception, in the past, you do that. Now, with the mindfulness and the understanding, you should reverse it. Understand? Straighten your view. Think it's just the way of it is. What is the meaning? When you see something, there is no such thing as beautiful, pleasant, or what. Of course, within the conditioned world, duality exists. People can describe it. But the reality is, understand or not? Whether it's beautiful or not beautiful is a perception of the individual, understand or not? That's why the English saying is very good. Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. The person who sees decide whether it's beautiful or not. You go to a South African country or African country, the black one is very pretty, very beautiful. You go to the West, the fair one. You go to Asian country, it's different again. So beauty lies in the individual, the eyes of the beholder. So when you understand that, you understand mundane mind, you understand duality, you understand how the teaching actually is so true. Fit it completely. So after this, every moment of perception, be aware. Then see how your memory, your old way of conditioning, belief system, how that content of consciousness come out. When you see it, you awaken. Oh, this is what is happening. That's why living being cannot break free from that paticca samuppada chain. Avijja paccaya sankara, sankara paccaya vijnanam, that vijnanam, the content of consciousness go in nama rupa already, the thought process already. That because of this nama rupa, there must be sense basis, otherwise it cannot arise. So the sense basis, that trigger of that thought consciousness can be from seeing or hearing or smell, taste, tactile or thought. This one is the one that trigger off. That's why upon contact, because of sense basis, contact arises. Upon contact, what happened? Contact condition, feeling. And feeling cannot be stopped. Straight away become craving. Why? If you are mindful, you are aware, you can see. It's because you're having your tendency. The delusion. You have been doing this for so long without understanding. When you understand, you become different. You awaken and you live life differently. Can you follow? This is how the real cultivation is. But nobody thought like that. They tell you the theory, and you memorize the theory without knowledge. That's why it's not applicable to life. The real cultivation is very different. Without awareness, you cannot understand what I say. But when you are aware, mindful, different. Okay? So these two, I want to spend some time because it is helpful. You can develop true penetrative understanding. Okay? Then the Buddha went on to share the third noble truth. What is the third noble truth? What is it? Yeah? Cessation of suffering. This suffering can cease or dukkha. The Buddha said there is a noble truth that talk about the cessation of dukkha. So suffering need not be. Means suffering need not be. Then you like see the light at the end of the tunnel. If there is a noble truth that explained to me clearly that suffering may not be, means the realization of nibbana, or cessation of suffering, which is a realization of nibbana, is possible, then there is great hope in understanding life. Realization of nibbana. Oh, double B, yeah? Sorry. There's two B, yeah? Oh, okay. Cessation. One S only. Huh?
Cessation, not
No cease. Okay. Good. Thank you. So if I understand clearly this third noble truth, then I know there is a way out. Understand? Means the realization of Nibbana is possible. Then you remember in the three turning of the Four Noble Truths, what did the Buddha say? The first Noble Truth is proclamation of truth. The second one? This Noble Truth is to be understood. Oh, sorry, is to be 断掉, you call it. To be severed, or to be abundant. Suffering is to be abundant, okay? Then this second Noble Truth, the first turning is a proclamation of this truth. Then the second turning is what? This cause of arising of suffering, craving is to be abundant. This one is to be abundant, okay? The third Noble Truth is what? Cessation of suffering is to be realized. Understand or not? And the third turning is has been realized. Understand? That's why this first turning is to tell you that it is possible. Then in the second turning, the Buddha said, this noble truth of cessation of dukkha or suffering is to be realized. Means you have to meditate, cultivate, silence your mind, and realize the cessation. Then only you understand what this third noble truth is. Now you see the teaching. And this is supramundane. No more the conditioned world. This is beyond the conditioned world. Then the fourth noble truth is what? Because most people don't know how to do it, how to realize it. The Buddha continued by telling you that there is a path that leads to the cessation of suffering. Noble Eightfold Path. If you cultivate it, it will lead to the cessation of suffering, dukkha. That's why you have to cultivate this Noble Eightfold Path, which is the meditation as taught by the Buddha. Now you follow. And under the first turning of the Four Noble Truths, the Buddha said, this Noble Truth, the fourth Noble Truth, he just proclaimed and said, there is a Noble Eightfold Path. If you cultivate this Noble Eightfold Path, it will lead to the end of all suffering. That is what the teaching is. So what must you do? Put it into practice, cultivate it. Then the second turning is what? This Noble Eightfold Path is to be cultivated. That's why cultivation is very important than the theory. Understand or not? You can parrot it out and score in the Pali exam. What for? You cannot live life because you didn't put it into practice. You didn't cultivate. Even pariyati is to understand this. That you have to cultivate it. Understand or not? The understanding of the three turning, you have to turn it. Then the third turning is what? This Noble Eightfold Path has been cultivated. That's how the third turning is always Bhavana Maya Panya is about enlightenment. All the third turning is about enlightenment. This is how the Four Noble Truths is to be understood. You understand this, you understand the secret of life. This two is mundane. Mundane. This one is supramundane. Okay? And this Noble Eightfold Path, I will explain somewhere along this retreat before it ends. The cultivation of it. There is very, very profound. And this one is a very big field, very big scope. Even the first right view, the three important right view, Kama Niyama, Chitta Niyama, Dhamma Niyama, the scope is so wide. Then after that, you think right thought is very easy. You go and try the four right effort. After the four right effort, you have the 5 ways, as taught by the Buddha, to develop the ability to abandon the unwholesome thought, unwholesome speech, and unwholesome action that prevent it from arising. Then cultivate those that are still not there. then refine upon it and perfect it all. All these are big field of cultivation. That's why you have to, in your daily life, reflect, contemplate, and live it until you become that thing. You have the embodiment of this noble eightfold path factor, each and every one of it. Then it reflects that you are a noble one with the noble path factor and understanding. And this, when you have it, it will lead to the end of all suffering. That's why in the past, I always tell you all and hinted to you all one. If you do whatever meditation, if it doesn't bring you back to the Noble Eightfold Path, it's not the meditation as taught by the Buddha. Even with all the fantastic nimitta jhana, the fantastic meditative experience, you can see light at night, like broad daylight, no use. Understand? But these are the Noble Eightfold Path factor that distinguish the individual from the unenlightened group. Without this Noble Eightfold Path factor, it cannot lead to the cessation of dukkha. Just like this Noble Eightfold Path factor is very powerful, very, very important. Okay, I stop here first. Yeah? Any question? Yeah. You all can rejoice. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Any question?
Yeah, Vaidya, sadhu for this very detailed deepening of explaining the Four Noble Truths.
Yes.
And just now you said the Noble Eightfold Path. Suddenly, like, this is very down to earth.
Yes,
It's not simply talk only.
Yes,
You really have to put it, let's say, samadhi. You really know what is right view. If you just know.
Well, by now you can understand where you have gone through the cultivation. Otherwise, they always try to, like what most people, I tested so many. You know what they tell me? Even the Singapore Tibetan and many other Buddhists. Even I go to Malacca, I ask them, do you really know? They got to refer to memory, what is the five mental hindrance? They got to refer to memory, and then they quote to you one by one. Memory quote, you think they understand? No, but for power also, they have to think one. Right thought. Then, right view. What is right view? Don't know. Most of them cannot describe. Even if they describe that three things, they don't know what that three things is. Do you see why they got trapped in knowledge-based, thought-based meditation? In the way they learn them. Because they didn't really go in. They are like Krishnamurti say, very superficial. Superficial means what? You think you know. Oh, Four Noble Truths, kindergarten one, Sunday school people learn one. That's why they cannot penetrate. The three turning is hardly taught. You realize or not? Even in the Theravada tradition, it's in the sutta, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, but hardly taught. Only a few Theravada monks talk about it, but they cannot go into the detail. Mahayana always talk about it, but also not much detail. Oh, Shenhua like it. I heard from him, but he expressed it slightly different. That's why it run a little bit. Where he used that type of Mandarin, like he said, 这是苦如音之. So in Mandarin, the first time I listened to it, I said, what is all this? This is suffering. 如音之 is, you should know it. It's not about knowing it. You should understand it. That's why the second turning is this noble truth of dukkha is to be understood. Knowing about it is not enough. That's why I saw the thing like it's not 如因知 that's all. 知 is 知道吗？知吗？ To know and to understand are two totally different things. That's why the first time I hear, I know it run a little bit, but I leave it because when I heard it, I know it's not the correct translation. The English one is more accurate, but the most accurate is the Pali one. The Dhammacakkappavattana is in Pali. That's why when Yun Chan showed me that book, I read the Pali and the English translation. The wrong English translation I would know. Well, I understood the Pali words. So that's why the three turning, nobody taught me. Until I decide to come out and share, then Yun Chan came and made the request 3 times. I rejected. Then after that, I went back and tell her, I said, on 3 conditions, you agree, then I will also agree to come out. And then I came out. So initially it was general topic, I remember tsunami and all those things. Then after that, they all want Dhamma. Then Yun Chan approached me, they are more interested in Dhamma sharing now. Oh, I said, okay. Then he said, what topic? He said, I don't know. What topic? He also don't know. Then we were at Vipassana Center. Then I saw on the wall the 5 ascetic with the Buddha. I said, the first sermon, the Buddha start with that. He said, okay, good. He said, I said, you got book or not? He said, what book? I said, any book, the chanting book or whatever that has this sutta on. No, I haven't seen the sutta. I haven't seen the sutta all that time, but I know it's the first sermon. So he said, God, Thai chanting book. He passed me that book. Then I read the English translation out of it. The area where they got it wrong, I know. That's why I corrected it. Then I realized, so beautiful. Well, that was what I was doing when I was cultivating. I was doing the second turning a lot. And my teacher, Ajahn told me, we choose contemplate, reflect, and inquire deep into the Dhamma. And I have been doing all those things. That's why after that, the third turning is automatic. When my mindfulness came, is stabilized, the understanding is there. That's why after that, everything fall into place. Then I realized, no wonder people cannot do. That's why I started sharing the 3 turning of the Four Noble Truths. And that time was 2004, way ahead of time. Hardly anybody understand. That's why at that time I did tell Yun Chan, anybody who can understand 10% of what I share, he or she is already very, very good. But not easy. That's why later on, now the consciousness is different. Now many Kayamita can understand. That's why I reject. So Ingbi, thank you. Very good. What you say is very true. Because this understanding of the cultivation is totally different. This one penetrating, awaken the individual, and it can become a living reality, the Dhamma. Okay? Continue, yeah. You can continue. You got a bit more time.
It is so down to earth, is just whether you can do what you understand or not. Sometimes you understand, but you still cannot do, let's say, the 4 right effort, the unarisen defilement come already. We know, but how to
prevent it from arising?
Yeah, how to stop it?
Yeah.
Prevent is one stage higher.
Yeah.
See before it comes. It's already here.
Yeah.
To stop it.
Yeah.
Wow. If you can remember the 5
That's why the 5 way, the third and the fourth way is very important. Once you go through the third and the fourth way, the meditative way, your understanding, your awakening, yoniso manasikara surface. That one can prevent it from arising. Because once you see, before this one, even through habitual tendency, you want to come and condition or stir or do all those things in the past, the yoniso manasikara will come up spontaneously that you understand. Sankara anicca, sankara dukkha, dhamma anatta. All thing is just the way it is. No right, no wrong. Then you can see things as they are, accept the reality for what it is. Tathata, suchness. Condition like that, things we like. Then you realize the Buddha's word all like, wow, so beautiful, applicable. That's why later on, even my teacher, Chanantra, said, we choose accept everything as natural. I realized he got the same understanding. You choose accept everything as natural means you accept nature's condition. Condition like that, things will be like that. Then she add on by saying, only mighty nature rolling by. So true. It's like the Diamond Sutta. 一切有为法，如梦幻泡影，如露如电，应作如是观。That thing is so beautiful. 一切有为法 is what? Everything is conditioned Dhamma. What is conditioned Dhamma? Dependent originating, condition arising. But this one is not theory, You must have mindfulness to see its movement, and activity. Then you realize, really, everything is dependent originating. No condition, no manifestation, no arising, no sustainment, no cessation. Then the universal characteristic is everywhere in the midst of life and nature. That's why without stability of mindfulness, you cannot see, you cannot understand. And to me, the Four Noble Truths is the secret of life. You understand now? You understand this, you understand life. You know how to live life. You know how to transcend dukkha. But the first Noble Truth is about the reality of life. Like English said, everything is down to earth. What you go through in life is the first Noble Truth reality. Whether you understand it and able to go beyond it, to liberate your mind or not, is another thing. Well, most people, thought level, knowledge base, they cannot have the understanding to live it. Understand now? They cannot manifest that Dhamma. It cannot become a living reality. That's why last time you just used to tell me that you advise people very easy. When they come to your own daughter, your own children, your own spouse, and all this. Advise people very easy. Let go lah. Why attack? Why flee? 生老病死吗? Say very easy, But when it hit you, your own loved one, that is the test. But when you have the Dhamma understanding, when you really penetrate, you are totally different, no? Because the form and mind, you see very clearly, it's not you. They say that 五蕴皆空 is a true, very profound type of awakening. It really empty, 空性. Understand? Okay, at least we have some meditation. Any more questions? 还有谁要 ask any question or Bocheng got anything? Yeah. Let Bocheng share. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Push it out. Push it out.
Hello.
Yes, can hear you.
Brother Teo, I want to say about this suffering thing. You see, because I'm a Putu Jayana. Putu Jayana, right?
Yeah.
So you see, before I actually learn the Dhamma, I have to have like some suffering first.
Yeah.
Without the suffering, it doesn't push me
Correct.
to learn the Dhamma,
Correct.
to
Yes.
find out the truth.
Yes.
It's like I'm very comfortable with my living.
Yeah.
Why do I want to go and learn Dhamma?
Correct.
So I need to have some hard knocks first.
Yeah.
Then I got, wow, so painful, Then I suddenly wake up,
Yeah. Yeah.
So the suffering actually helps me
Yes.
speed up my Dhamma learning.
Yes.
And then it opens up my heart to understand the reality of life.
Yeah.
You can tell me the reality of life if I never suffered it before, So how
Very difficult to comprehend. Yeah.
Yes. You cannot
Very difficult to
understand it
comprehend.
fully. Deep
Yeah.
down, you cannot understand it.
Yeah. Very true.
So this is from my so-called experience,
Sadhu.
that I can share. So if you have the suffering, I mean, people are afraid of suffering, but actually suffering helps you to speed up your application.
Yeah,
So you need to-
your urgency, like that time you went through Marananusati,
Yes, correct.
contemplation on that, because you realize life is very transient. Anytime you can go.
Yes,
You
correct.
witness so many go before you. Understand? Then, if you don't make full use of it, like the Mandarin, Yana saying, 人生难得佛法难闻。人生难得经已得，佛法难闻经已闻。Then what are you waiting? Wasting your time for what? Because the life during this sasana is not guaranteed, anything can happen, like the COVID-19, the pandemic. So many people died. Accident also every day, so many. Then in US now, gun shooting, so common. So many people just died. Then the war, Ukraine, Afghanistan, and all over the world. That's why you are blessed that you stay in a country where there is no war, no conflict. Then you can have the Dhamma. That's why the urgency of cultivation can manifest when you witness dukkha, like Alicia. If you don't go through depression, he won't look at the Dhamma. He won't come to my Tuesday class. It's because too long inside it already. Then the condition not ready. And when ready, she came and attended. The moment she saw the light after the first sharing, he keep on chasing Suyan for the talk. You know, Suyan, the recording and all those things. That's how it manifests. For your case, also very true. Like you share with us that Thursday night, when your sister Han asked you to attend my class, you initially got no interest because you don't see it. Yes, your life is too good and understand, too comfortable, no problem, everything smooth sailing and everything go your way, successful and all things, good family. But then somehow, before the pandemic start, you suddenly realize the urgency. Then you want to attend, but the karmic came, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise because that retreat was cancelled. Then you were so eager to learn. Then the blessing in disguise is we came out with a Zoom. Luckily, Sui came back. Then the Zoom for 8 months now, I shared that Hasutta. It becomes so clear to you. Then you follow the instruction, you cultivate your practice, and you transform and progress so far. Then after that, no need to talk to you already. You have seen the Dhamma and understood what this is. And it's so useful, so beautiful, so important. That's why all this need causes and conditions. Otherwise, you won't be here. You won't be listening to all this. Very good. Sadhu.
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 So, Brother Teo,
Hmm.
coming back to this pandemic, right? So, with the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
The death, how you call that? Marana Nusati, right? Well, that one is very, very powerful.
Yeah, it will drive you.
Yes. So every day, it's like very there's the virya, they say, oh, I must do this, I must do that, So without fear, I don't have any distraction, no distraction one, I just do my housework. After that, I do my Dhamma cultivation.
Yeah, your routine.
I learn, listen to the Dhamma.
Yeah.
I cultivate by, practicing.
Yeah. Because you follow exactly what I taught you. Because you are a clean slate. You are not so conditioned. Your thought process, your knowledge of meditation, you are new to that thing. That's why you are not so conditioned like your sister.
Yeah.
Your sister one is very difficult to untie the conditioning. So for you, very straightforward. Then you realize, oh, so beautiful, like Alicia. Oh, so beautiful, so easy, relax, meditate, and then the thing happened.
But you must do it daily.
Correct.
Every day do.
Until it stabilizes.
Yes.
Very patient.
Suddenly you say something change.
Correct.
Just
Correct. Don't try to know. Then when the thing happened, when it transformed, like that day, Sister Sarah, she shared to us, he told the sister Han, he said, you were no one, he said, you become different. A lot of things you cannot do already, because of the understanding. Then that transformation inside is so transformative. Stop you cannot move. Like inside very different.
It's very funny.
Sadhu. Very good.
So you just do it every day. Don't think, don't have any doubt. Just do.
Yeah.
I have no doubt. I have so much faith. I have so much virya. I just do. Until one day it's like, oh, so beautiful and gratitude. The meditation is how you call that without any mental hindrance is so how you call that, so relaxed.
Yeah.
So relaxed. yet you can see the relaxation, the level.
Yeah. The tranquility,
Yes,
the stillness, and all those things. Yeah. 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 Yeah lah.
Then you go in and go in.
Yeah.
Soothing.
Correct. Sadhu. Very good. By itself one.
You don't need to do anything.
There is no thought interfering one.
Then you know you are.
That nature do by itself. That thing happen by itself.
Yes,
You have a nature that witness all this.
Yes.
Then it becomes so beautiful. Then you realize this is what meditation is all about. People can never do.
And the clarity is
Hmm.
so sharp.
Yeah.
Like
Magnified. Yeah.
you cannot see, you are able to see.
Yeah. Then also the vibration outside, the chipping of the bird, everything become very clear. Oh, that is like that nature manifests.
Yes.
And it become that oneness. Then you start to understand what that true mind is. Because living beings who are healers without the Dhamma, they are always with the mundane mind, the thinking mind. They hardly touch the true mind, I tell you. Hardly touch, means they are hardly aware, or mindful. But they cannot stop their thought one. In the free mind state, they cannot, because they don't have a spiritual faculty. The mindfulness not stable. But when the spiritual faculty is there, like she experienced, the hindrance not there at all. She experienced a long period without hindrance. The mind is so beautiful. Well, without hindrance means the meditative spiritual faculties are there. When they are there without the hindrance, nothing to hinder you from entering the meditative state, then the mind naturally goes into the meditative state of inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness. That's how the true mind manifests. Then all the movement, everything, she can understand because the nature witness it, saw how it transforms. That's why I said to Song also, don't be too eager to know. Once something happened, link it to the Dhamma, then you miss the deeper possibility of understanding. Just don't try to know, just let it be. You want to know after you come out of it, then reflect, contemplate. But before that, just let it happen. Witness, silent, stabilizing. Very good, Coach Adrian.
Okay, the other part of it,
Hmm.
so you have this experience, right? So I after I got out of it, actually I didn't even want to know what happened, I was just continue with my cooking because after that I have to do my cooking, right? So I cook. Then the next morning only I said, hey, what actually happened yesterday?
That should be the way.
Yes, and then Brother Teo, as I sit down and I want to know the time, it just comes.
Yeah, you will come out. No need to analyze. By itself, it will show you one. The understanding will manifest.
Yes.
Very good.
Come out to show you.
Yeah.
You to analyze.
Because your nature has awakened to it. Then when you realize that awakening means that direct seeing, the understanding, that will give you the ability to comprehend all this. That's why the Dhamma become clear to you. You never seen before, you start to see. You never hear before, you start to understand. That's why the Thursday night, you remember, I explained to you that our cultivation is reverse. I told Hannah, the sister, they all want the thought go and look for Dhamma, knowledge. Means with the knowledge, with the thought, they go and look for it. These ones silent everything, don't try to know, don't try to do, without knowledge, without anything, clean slate, observe. That awaken, observe, that awaken. No need word, no thought, nothing. That's why I say, stabilize the awareness nature, then you will know yourself, you will understand yourself, you will awaken yourself. Dhamma will unfold. Where is awareness based? You need the silent mind, the true mind, the meditative mind to awaken, to develop wisdom. Wisdom cannot be learned through thought process. There is not a knowledge. Knowledge is accumulated, brain, memory of the past. Knowledge is rigid, limited. All is limited. So all this you will come to understand that you see it clearly in the midst of life, existence, nature. Everything is like that. Very good. Sadhu. Sadhu. Okay.
It's very amazing and
Yeah,
very
very
powerful, the silent mind.
Yeah.
You just witnessing and understand what is going on.
Yeah.
You don't need to analyze, reasoning, and ask questions. It
Yeah.
just come out and show you.
Sadhu, sadhu. Very good. Okay, so I have actually reversed it, huh? Because we're supposed to meditate first, then 5 to 5:30 Q&A. Huh? So just the Q&A over. So now you meditate. Huh? So I give you maybe first session 30 minutes, so that we have more time for whatever wrap up and question. Okay.
Well, Brother,
沙的
Mrs. Teo and all Paramitas. 首先我要感恩 Brother Teo conduct 这个 retreat，感恩法藏师父能给我我们这个机会来这里禅修。还有就是感恩 Pamasuri 的付出，为我们安排这一切。
Organize, coordinate.
然后就是我要讲的是，愚痴的我嘞，有一点卡住在那边，所以我要跟他讲 sorry 啊 ，Pamasuri。So 就是我一来到这里，我一进厨房，感觉我好像回家。
哦，是的。
再下来就是在那个 main shrine 那边，我的 heart 那边就 move 了，那个 tears 就一直忍不住了。就是好像回家了这样。
是的。
然后就是还是老样子，就是那个 energy 弄到，就是令我，就是很多的 awareness， 就是因为我就在讲课。然后刚才我躺了下去的时候，哇，我的 heart 这边，哇，那个 movement 就好像一个 sharp thing 这样。
我知道。
所以我觉得很幸福，很感恩能够参与这一次的禅修。借着这个机会，我也希望大家有一个很 fruitful， 就是很 meaningful 的一个 retreat， 然后就是我希望通过这一次的禅修，让我们大家一起努力的去去学习。
对，
感恩大家，也很感恩，我也不懂得。这一次的很 strong 那个 feeling，
The energy here is very, very strong.
是
The nature energy is so strong. Before 我进来我就感觉到了， then when 我进来就好像你讲的，好像他们欢迎我们回来了。Then you realize after we arrive, unsettle the luggage, everything. Then Chin House car arrived. After that, they unload. Then it started to rain. Rain until now. Then when I started sharing, but the energy is so strong. My nature here, normally, if I go anywhere, actually people draw from my nature. I cannot draw anything. But when I come here, I realize there is this nature here which is so strong around my whole heart area. It's like they have joy, and my nature also has joy. And this one keep on moving for the benefit of living beings. So do have faith. Then all this you can detect when you can have the silent mind stabilized. Then you will draw. Like I always say, the nature of great beings, they are ever relating for the cultivator of the way. As a cultivator of the way, you actually can draw. But to draw, you must have awareness, sati. Without awareness, you cannot draw. Otherwise, you draw the energy field and thought-based. Even they draw the energy field, when they develop sati, this energy field will melt inside. It will be useful too. So whatever energy you draw, you don't worry. But remember, the only way to awaken, to develop the wisdom and to insight in the phenomena is to develop the awareness within. Forget about energy field. Where you go deep into energy field, you are stuck in energy field. It will be the psychic field, and it open up a totally different field of psychic experience, which is not the teaching of Sakyamuni Buddha. Where initially he also for almost 6 years, he went through all the ascetic practices. He also experienced and learned from all the teachers that taught him, especially Alara and Uddaka. They taught him until the 8 jhanas. But he realized that it was not what he was looking for. Even though the teacher told him, you are now of equal to us. You can join us and teach together. He said, never mind. We are deep inside, he realized what he wanted to realize or search for is the answer to why he left the home life when he saw the 4 signs. Remember? The 4 signs. The first one is like old man, dying man, weak. Then the second one, full of disease, full of suffering. Then finally, a dead person. Then suddenly the inner nature like moved him. Say, this is the reality. After seeing this reality, do you have an answer? He don't have the answer. Then he realized, despite what the king or the father has given him, all of the 4 seasons, the 4 type of palace, everything is the best. But he realized one very important fact. All this will come to pass. And when he finally become old, very weak, full of sickness, disease, and finally they die, he got no answer. Because the attendant that accompanied him explained to him, this is an old man, weak and fragile. Everybody grows old. When the time comes, we all grow old. You and me will one day be like that old man. Very, very, very weak, very fragile. They call this old, aging, decay. Then he realized the physical that goes through aging is very insecure. He got no answer. He said, when I reach this age, what can I do? Then when it comes to disease, he also got no answer. What he wants is an eternal answer to all this. He doesn't want to be subject to old age, sickness, and death anymore. Because deludedly, initially, he thought the form and mind is what he is. That's why he decided to leave the palace, the home life, to go the way of the renunciate, where he finally saw a samana, a cultivator, very serene. He said, maybe that should be the way where he can find the answer. He can seek the answer. That's why he decided to renounce the world and follow the path of a samana. Means put on robe, cut off his hair, then diligently with the faith, practice, cultivate energy. Then when he went through all the jhanic experiences, all the fantastic mind state that the teacher has taught him, he had experienced the highest of all the jhana, the form and the formless jhana. And yet, He got no answer to the first three. Old, getting sick, and finally died. He realized this is not what he's searching for. That's why he went on to continue his search. Then he connect at the night after Sujata gave him the milk rice. Suddenly the condition manifests. Then he connect through. Then he inherited his past cultivation. Then he realized all this noble truth. That's why in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta is mentioned, the Buddha said, even he himself, Samasambuddha, or a Bodhisattva at that time, before he became what he is, he also had to comprehend the Four Noble Truths in his three turning before he can proclaim to be the enlightened one. What more, living beings? So he came to realize these are the realities of life and existence. All the conditions summarize all of life. Then he realized the first four, birth, old age, sickness, and death, pertains to the form and mind. This is not him. Then he realized profoundly that this form and mind is dependent, originating, condition arising, causal phenomena, not a permanent, unchanging entity that we can grasp onto, cling onto, and hold onto, and say, this is me, this is I. Therefore, all this can be mine. So he realized that delusion, Sakkayaditthi. That's why he's free. Then he realized his problem no more. Because this only apply to the form and mind. The form goes the way of nature. The form is subject to all these things. Because nature's condition is everything is in a state of flux. We go through the four-phase cycle. Birth, growth, sustenance, then aging, then death. That's why the birth and the sustenance phase means you grow from a baby or a fetus into a child, into an adult. Then after that you plateau off, the growth hormone no more. Then you start the aging process, you decay. And when you go through these three phases, there is one more last one, where the form and mind will cease. Or if you die a natural death with avijja, then the consciousness and the form will separate, and they say that the form and mind die, the human being die. That's why he awakened to that reality. So this body, like the 5 daily contemplation, which we will go through in the morning chanting, this body of ours is of the nature to grow old, get sick and die, for he has not gone beyond old age, sickness and death. So pertain to the physical, which is not him. That's why his problem no more. Then he realized there is a cause behind all this suffering. That's why he can summarize all his understanding into Four Noble Truths. And this one become like the secret of life, the essence of his teaching. It's like in Mandarin, what you call the 无限小说悲cup悲 cup is called 秘方秘诀这个是生命的秘诀，不是 swordsmanship 的秘诀。So he realized this, that's why he shared with the world. He realized the mind can cease. He realized to cease, you need to cultivate this noble eightfold path, to have the noble quality of enlightened being. That's why this teaching becomes so beautiful. That's why he doesn't want to follow the two teachers. He go on his own. Then when he realized this, he was full of joy. For 1 of 7 weeks, he developed all the Every week is a different experience for him. At first, it's gratitude towards the Bodhi tree. He keep on expressing gratitude on everything. Then he looked into his past. Because he's a Sammasambuddha, he has this ability, spiritual penetrative. Then he realized, he saw 1 birth, 2 birth, 3 birth, until millions and millions and millions of birth and death. Then he understood Paticca Samuppada. He realized all this segmented life that he was born into, and the karmic process, everything. That's why this is the reality, the nature's law that governs life. Then he realized the form and mind is subject to karma. You cannot play a fool with karma. That's why his advice comes from there. We are all born our karma, he said. Heir to your karma, condition and supported by your karma. You are what you are because of karma. How did he know this? Because he saw his past. He saw every birth, how the karmic conditioning lead to all this. That's why I say when you come to understand this teaching, you will be shown all this until you realize this is the truth. Cannot be otherwise. I use the word, you remember, in Hokkien, "Bù cao lu bù xiong xin." It's like that on. That is the law of karma, the nature's law of nature. It's not you. It's not your truth or my truth. It's nature. Nature, with its boundary condition, created this universe, existential world. That's why this existential world got its pancha niyamas. So this teaching is very, very powerful. And people cannot understand why he don't want to follow the teacher, become so famous and like very supernaturally powerful and special. No, well, this is the one he is looking for, not that one. That's why this style of teaching is very rare. Sammasambuddha is very, very rare. Yeah, this one really let you understand life, the mundane aspect. Then the supramundane, where you can live the third phase of Dhamma, the life of enlightenment. That's why this vulnerable truth, there are so much more things to it. Not until you all together, we move and you transform your nature become. And then I can explain a lot more things. Yeah, this is really profound. Yeah. Not until the condition arrive, my nature cannot share all this. Yeah. So you also come to realize now my sharing is no longer like before because the condition is different. Your ability to comprehend and grasp and transform is different. Okay? So let us rejoice. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We should thank Alicia, Amy, and Ojeng for creating the condition. These are very beautiful sharing. So like Sister Alicia mentioned, gratitude. You know why so important? Just now I explained to you that after the Buddha became enlightened underneath the Bodhi tree, for 1 week, what he do? Express gratitude towards the Bodhi tree. Because he meditated under there, is sheltered. Of course, also that non-human, the cobra that shaded him from all the things. Of course, the Dhamma protector and all the nature's supreme being, the great being's nature. But all this he cannot describe inside there because at that time he was teaching the Theravada teaching. The very basic Theravada Four Noble Truths and its treatment, the essential Dhamma to become enlightened, the sainthood way. So that, like our education system, art. 谢谢啊，我们会下去啊，谢谢。The dinner is ready. A bit more. Where was I? No, after that. Huh? No, after that.
He was teaching Theravada. Even though the snake was covering, he was teaching Theravada.
I know. But after that, I mentioned something, but I was interrupted by. Huh? No. After that. Correct, Sadhu. Because he cannot tell you about the great being's nature or those things. Why? Because he was teaching the basic Theravada teaching. Thank you, Danny. Sadhu. Very good. He was teaching the basic Theravada teaching and his treatment, but these are more important. Understand or not? Then what I want to explain just now is like our education system. Understand or not? The university courses are there. Understand or not? But at that time, basic kindergarten course also not there. Understand or not? That's why I got to teach you from kindergarten start, then primary school, then maybe secondary school, then upper secondary before you go university. So you can, by an analogy, the Bodhisattva way is like going to the university. There is so much thing to learn, understand or not? After you go to university, you graduate, you come out and career life. You work, you apply what you learn. And that is the Bodhisattva way, understand or not? Complete link to life, related to life. But the Theravada, to be eligible to go to university, is much easier, you understand? The Four Noble Truths returning. Like now, you go to, after Form 5, you go to college. The requirement is what? Minimum requirement is very easy. Most people can qualify. So Sainthood Way is like that. With the Sainthood Way, most people can take the Bodhisattva way. But how many want to go? So in the early days, university education like very rare, you remember? But nowadays it's like so common. With a basic degree, you are like nobody anymore. You need that condition. It's just like when the Bodhisattva era manifests, like in the Pure Land or one, you realize there are very few wanting to cultivate the sainthood way. They will go for the Bodhisattva way. So this analogy will make you understand why Sakyamuni doesn't talk much about the great being's nature or those things. In his sharing, like the closing puja hour, share merits with all beings, devas, yes, that one, yes. But the great being's nature, how to cultivate the Bodhisattva way, he is silent. Because that teaching is, you realize the Mahayana got the 5 periods. He teach the different period when he was in Tusita heaven with the mother. So all this, he will come to understand why it is like that. Okay, we will break for our dinner. Since Tan Siong Sư Fu already called us, we can go down. Thank you.